this is a tutorial on Sakura, which is a traditional folk song of Japan. Sakura means cherry blossoms. Okay, so the time is 4/4, which would be 1, 2, 3, 4. And they suggest that you use a metronome marking of 66 to 76 for the quarter note. So 66 would be like this. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, something like that. Which I think is kind of fast. Okay, so where are your hands at the beginning? Your hands are going to be thumb on F, and the left hand is what's known as ostinato. Ostinato means something that keeps repeating over and over and over and over again. So what we have is a fifth, then a sixth, then a fifth, then a sixth. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You want to keep that really steady, even when you're playing. You want to play it very, very steadily, almost like someone is. Since it's about cherry blossoms, I'm going to assume that cherry blossoms kind of hang down. I'm assuming that this is the wind going back and forth. So that's why I think it should be a little bit slower. All right, so let's start with the left hand. Your left thumb is on E, the E below middle C. So it's going to sound like, okay, first let me tell you, let's go over the notes first and I'll tell you about the pedal. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can't see my foot, but I'm going up and down every time the chord changes. So up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay, so now we're going to leave the introduction for a minute. We're just going to start on measure 3, which is the second line, and we're going to listen to how this sounds with the hands together. This is a sixth going to a sixth. So the correct fingering would be 1, 4, 2, 5. But I don't believe you can reach that. So the pedal will help you to carry the legato from a sixth to a sixth. So it's going to be hit the notes, then up, down with the pedal. That's when you change the pedal. When this chord goes down, the second chord goes down, your foot goes up, down. Then it goes back to this one, up, down, up, down. It's when your hand goes down, your foot goes up. You have to have the notes down before you let the pedal up, or it's going to sound like this. So you have to practice carrying the legato. Okay, all right, so let's try this again. So starting measure number 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Switch your right hand now to a 3 on A. Cross over from 1 to 3. 1, 3, 4, 3. Cross over with 2. Okay, let's keep going. Go back up with 3 on A. This part is very loud. Then very soft. Keep it soft. Now this is a repeat of the introduction at the end. So it's going to sound like this. So you never let the pedal up there, because when you're not changing the chord in the left hand, from measure 15 to measure 19, which is the last measure, there is no change of pedal because you've never changed the chord in the left hand. So you know the harmony's not changing. So leave the pedal down after measure 15. Okay, so I believe I put a repeat sign after measure 16, which means that you are going to play measures 1 through 16, then go back to the beginning, go back to measure 3. So I'm putting a little bracket there, because that's where you're going to go back to, is where that repeats to. You're going to go back to measure 3, and then you'll play measures 17 and 18, which is kind of the matching part of the introduction. Okay, so let's start with the introduction, because I want to demonstrate to you the dynamics and how there's so in looking at a cherry blossom tree, you have white ones and pink ones, and this combination is very beautiful, but it's a big contrast. And I think what this song is about is, it basically says, Sakura, Sakura, cherry blossoms in the sky, near and far as I can see, meaning E-Y-E, can see, like a mist of floating clouds in the fragrant blush of spring. And then come, oh come and see the cherry blossoms. So I think what the dynamic range from very soft to very loud is about is the wind. When the wind, if you've ever seen a cherry blossom festival, and I have many in the Washington, D.C. area, the cherry blossoms all bloom, but a wind can come anytime and blow on the trees, and all of the blossoms fall down like snow. They just fall down just like snow. So I think that's what this is about. It's a very beautiful piece. It's actually in A minor. So, but it's a bit like a mode. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Circle the P, that is piano. Second measure is pianissimo. So the second measure is softer than the first one. As you're going up the keyboard, you're going to get softer. So it's going to be, so I want you to put the left pedal down, which is the una quarta pedal. And that will help you to keep quiet. And then, of course, you're going to put the una quarta pedal back on in measure 17 when you play measure 17. That would be the second time through. All right, so let's try it. So medium. This is piano, so it's going to be a little bit louder than the second measure. Then the third measure gets very loud. So let's try that. So there's a ritardando at the end, which means slow down. When you go up to that higher register, that's when the highest register, you're gonna slow down a lot. Just take your time. Just take your time with the whole last line there from 17, 18, 19. Okay, so I think I've gone over most of the important things. Oh, I know, I wanted to play it with the metronome. So this is what they suggest. So that would be it's not bad. Maybe a little fast. Okay, so that was 66. Now, starting in the fifth measure, there's a marking that goes from small on one side to big. It looks like a triangle. This means loud. This means soft. Okay? So sometimes you have to go soft to loud when it opens that way. When it opens this way, it means loud to soft. So for example, starting in measure 5, it's going to sound like this. Soft to loud. Next measure, loud to soft. So this is how that would sound. So there are 8 notes or 8 beats altogether. So if you use a scale of like 1 to 10, 1 being the softest, like you're turning the volume up, 1 being the softest, 10 being the loudest. When you turn to 10, you're going to be in the middle of those 2 measures. So it would be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you have to kind of figure out how you want to control the dynamics. And that happens again in the next measure. If we use a scale of 1 to 4, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. So those two measures go soft and loud. The next two go soft and loud. So it's like, that's what makes you think of the wind coming in and blowing. It would sound very much like that. So that's what you want to listen for. Okay, so we'll go over it again in your lesson. Oh, one more thing. The composer, arranger, actually, because this is a folk tune, so there's no composer. The arranger suggests putting a trill in at the end. So we can go over that in your next lesson, but it would sound like this. So it would be very quiet, and it would sound like shimmering, like the wind blowing a lot then. So we can go over that in your lesson, and I can show you how to do that.